Did you guys started live stream?
Yeah.
Great. Hi Ty, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
Good.
We've got about 13 people in the waiting room so far, but I'm not letting them in yet. I'll let them in after like 10 minutes, 8 minutes.
How many are there?
There are 13 so far, but there's still like 20 minutes from the official start, so quite a few will. So, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Adi, if you're ready, you can start the screen share. Let's just look at the
Yeah,
presentation
okay.
once.
Sure thing. Give me a second. All right. Okay. So is this last slide okay? Go to any questions, Rishabh. Rishabh, can you hear me?
I can hear
You're
you.
muted.
Yeah, I can
Yeah,
hear
I
you,
can.
Adi. Yeah,
Yeah, is
you
this
can
slide
start
okay?
like, yeah, this is good.
All right. Cool. Let's see if this video plays.
Yeah.
Okay. Is this playing for you guys or is it just for me?
No,
This is...
no, it's not.
Jeez.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I wonder what's wrong with this one.
Oh, right now we placed like a single slide for you that talks about like that just says up next logo and like a description. Like there's no description, just your logo and your name.
I won't use a slideshow. I'll do it by heart. I'll do it. I'm
Okay,
gonna do
cool.
it very short. Right? Yeah.
Okay, cool.
All right. Rishabh, this is Spain.
It's not working.
No idea what's wrong. You want me to send this thing over and then
No,
maybe
no,
try
it's okay.
replacing it?
No, just run it on your PC. It's okay. I don't want to risk that right now. Click on. Can you just maybe try the loop until stop thing?
It's coming. It's coming in the morning. I don't know what's wrong now. All of a sudden. Okay, just give me a second.
Okay, give me a minute. Yeah, I'm going to discuss the Tangle presentation. Gosh.
Make a wish. Oh, she's in call.
Should I start letting people in, or should I do it like at 5:55?
Did
Do it
we
at
say
5:55.
5 o'clock, right? Let's give it 4 minutes.
Okay. I mean, my team's here now, so we could all five of us here. Oh, we actually pulled it off. I was worried until the beginning of this week about the competition.
What? What?
I'm a bit surprised we actually pulled it off. I was a bit worried, concerned about a few things until the beginning of this week, like until Sunday. I was scared how the campaign's going and if we get enough participation. But we managed, and we're here now.
Yeah.
Cool.
I look at it as a pilot. If it's successful, we can do a huge one. I have a lot of plans with a lot of. I just today I spoke with two different chains of high schools with 60 or 70,000 people, and they're super excited to participate. So, but
Oh,
it
wow.
was a late notice
Mm.
from today to today. But if this one is going to be successful, the next one is going to be huge.
I mean, we're here now, so let's hope you're good now. And plus, now
Yeah,
that we will organize like two complete events with with growing numbers in participation, it should help get better sponsors as well, bigger sponsors, better
yeah,
prizes. Yeah, so
yeah.
that should be exciting. I'm just gonna quickly check. Oh, we have 12 people on a live stream who are listening to everything we're saying. Adi, if you're ready, can you share your screen and then just let the starting soon slide on?
Sure.
Thanks. And Ita, I'm gonna let them all in now.
Okay. Rishab, are you recording this? No audio. You're all muted.
You're muted,
Yeah.
Rishabh.
Yeah. Um, I'm live streaming it, so YouTube records it simultaneously, and then I'll just upload it like that, and I can download it and get it to you as well.
Okay.
I mean, I can try recording it to the Zoom cloud also, but I don't know how. I Yeah, I don't want that buffer basically the live stream.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna let everyone in.
Hey guys,
Hey.
I am so sorry for that weird video when I came in previously. I was on a call with Rishabh and he did not tell me about this.
Okay,
Nice.
I'm letting everyone in. So
Recording in progress.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey guys, we will be starting in a couple of minutes. We did plan for an on-time start, but we're just giving everyone 2 to 3 minutes to join into the meeting. All right. It might appear that we're at max capacity in terms of participants. So we'll be sharing the link to the YouTube live in the chat box. Please feel free to share it with your teammates and family or friends, whoever would like to watch the live stream. Okay, I think we're good to start. There's still a few people joining in, but we can begin. Is everyone from my team ready?
Yeah, we're good to go.
Yep, good to go.
Yep, and Kaush?
Should we give the people about 3 more minutes or two and start 2 minutes?
Fine.
Or
Sure.
anyone else joining in?
We already have 117 people at the moment, but sure, let's wait.
All right, I think we're good to start with the 125 participants so far. The rest can come in as we begin. Okay, so hello and welcome to the opening and launch of Tanglethon, UAE's biggest virtual ideathon brought to you by Tangled and Up Next. I'm Rishabh Java, the chief tangler and co-founder of Tangled.
And I'm Khwaish Gulati, the co founder of Tangled as well.
And we're going to be your hosts for today evening. Now, for our online audience, Tanglethon's a 3-day intense virtual program to help young talents generate fresh solutions to existing prominent challenges in our community. The participants will work in teams and use innovative ideation practices such as design thinking and brainstorming to come up with possible solutions. The event will begin on the 24th of June, that is today, and go on until the 26th of June, with the finals happening next week from the 1st of July until the 3rd of July. The competition is free to attend for all senior school and university students from the ages of 13 all the way up to 20.
So, before we kick off, we have some housekeeping rules. Please make sure your microphone is off throughout the session. Also, note that this is being live streamed on YouTube, so you can choose to keep your camera off or on. That is entirely your choice, as long as you know everyone's seeing it. Feel free to ask us any questions you have at any time. I will be keeping an eye at the chat. But please be respectful in the chat at all times. And that's it. Let's get on to it.
All right, before we get on to the main challenge and all the actual happenings of the event, let's just have a fresh start. Let's go over a few riddles and quick challenges for you all. So we want this to be fair for everyone. So please use the chat to answer. And the first one to answer the riddle in both cases is going to get a shout out on our Instagram page.
All right, let me know when you want to solve the riddles.
Yes, Adi, you can begin.
All right, so starting with the first one. What runs but never walks, murmurs but never talks, has a bed but never sleeps, and has a mouth but never eats? What do you think it is? It's flooding.
I think that was fast. That was super fast.
Fast.
I think we have Bianca from Winchester School who answered first. So we will note down your email and then have someone reach out to you right after the launch ceremony.
Yes, good job.
Let's get on to the next one.
All right, second question, Kavish.
Okay, what can travel all around the world without leaving its corner? Wow, that was fast.
That's not fast.
I can't even scroll to the bottom.
You think everyone
Okay, it's
knows
Joshua.
this?
Joshua.
Yes, Joshua Joseph.
Joshua Joseph. Yeah.
That's really fast. Okay, congrats, buddy. We'll
All right.
text you.
So that is the right answer.
Yes, stamp is the right answer.
Right. So now, before going any further, let's have a 5-minute icebreaker, maybe, Rishabh.
Yeah.
All right. So now, now how all of you probably use this annotate feature in Zoom, probably for annoying all of our teachers. But before you start any war in the chat box, let us use it for something better now. Let us actually get to know each other better on the next slide. So in this slide, I want all of you to put down your favorite food, which is your favorite food, just in the screen. You're free to annotate, but just in this slide.
Yeah. You can use the chat too if the annotate feature isn't working. So put down your
in case it doesn't work for you.
Food and maybe the name of the country and city you're from.
I see chole puri and now I'm hungry. I should have eaten.
Sunset talking pasta. Shawarma. Okay.
Ooh, shawarma is my favorite as well.
Spandan got some real feelings at shawarma.
Yeah, biryani, but what kind? There are many kinds of biryani.
Pasta, pizza.
What's your favorite?
Okay, there's Alina who says that she doesn't have a favorite food.
Alina, then you just haven't tried enough. I'm sure you have one. There always has to be.
Same as me, buddy. Mehul.
Tacos.
I think what's interesting is how we have someone um, who's from Manali, I guess, who likes biryani. So
The one with veg?
Right.
Okay.
Right. The one
Yes,
with
I'm a
Manali, the
veg.
sad
vegetarian.
part is a lot of people don't even consider it biryani if it's veg.
We can't consider biryani as veg. It's
I
called
do.
pulao.
I do. I like veg biryani as well. Veg Hyderabadi biryani. It's good.
Okay. Someone
all right,
says,
let's move
Someone
on with this.
really
Okay.
likes.
all right. I think all of them loved the brainstormers,
Yeah.
icebreakers.
Yeah, I think this is always an
Right.
interesting exercise because everyone has
Right. It
different
works well.
foods that they like, and it helps us see where they're from as well. Okay,
Right.
so
Thank you,
now
Vani. Even
that
I
was quite
do.
interesting. But we kind of always hate the students when events they get dragged on. So without any further delays, let's have Mr. Matlin, the founder and CEO of our partners and our co-organizers, up next to talk to us about his platform.
Yeah. Okay. Can you hear me? Can you see me?
We can hear you and we can see you.
Great. Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm going to be very short because there are a lot to be said, and many people want to talk after me. I just want to say that this would be the first time that we, as a platform, are collaborating with this kind of event, with a hackathon or ideathon in our case. And I think it's going to happen a lot in the next future, in the near future. And up next is all about enabling teenagers like you. Short, Shortening the gap between your ideas and the market. We are well familiar with the fact that teenagers have awesome ideas. And in many cases, they don't make it to the market because, due to a lot of reasons, they don't have the money, they don't have the knowledge, they are not being perceived as serious enough by investors or people from the industry. And we think this has been changed and should be further changed in the next couple of years, because we think that the next big thing is certainly going to come from you guys. The next big thing, because you guys as a generation are almost like you're 2 billion people. Gen Z is 2 billion people around. It's like quarter of the world population, and it's pretty clear that the problems that concerns you, their solution lies within you. You are going to be the problem solvers of your generation's challenges and problems. So we are big believers in you as entrepreneurs. And on our platform, you can pitch your ideas, get support from your like-minded peers worldwide. And by getting support from your peers saying, we understand the problem, we relate to it, we understand the solution, and we want to use it, basically you're creating an asset that most startups don't get to in their lifetime. Most startups fail or get closed before they get tens of thousands of users. Most startups don't get even 100 users. So what you're getting on our platform is the first asset you'll need in order to impress the industry, the investors, the mentors, the partners, the co-founders you want to work with. And we are willing to put our money where our mouth is, because what we are offering is to sponsor the startups, the teams from your generation that are going to tell the best stories and get the most support, the largest amount of supporters. So basically what we're looking for is good storytellers, the ones who can pitch a problem and a solution and get as many supporters and other teenagers as possible engaged. Okay, you'll get to know our app in the next few days, and I hope you'll like it.
Yep.
That's it.
Thank you for that, Itai. And Tangle as a team of young entrepreneurs was was very excited when we actually connected and to find out what you all were doing. And we're just so excited about the collaboration and looking forward to many more such events, thus working together.
Yeah, by the way, I'm going to paste here in the chat a link to our YouTube channel where we're interviewing teenpreneurs from around the world. Rishab is one of our interviewees as well.
Yeah.
Watch it in your free time.
All right.
Okay. That's great. Guys, you can check out that link. It's in the chat now. And thank you for that, sir. All right. Now, amongst us, we
Is
have
Harry
a
here
very
yet?
special guest. a young entrepreneur and a public speaker with extensive experience in organizing some of the world's most exciting competitions.
Amongst us, we have Harry Beard. He is a 21-year-old entrepreneur and co-founder of Prospect 100. Prospect 100 hosts digital competitions for young creatives to help them develop participants' passions into careers. They have worked with the likes of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and luxury fashion group Kering, as well as being supported by industry leaders from Apple's co-founder Steve Wozniak to leading designers like Sean Wotherspoon. We're super excited to have you with us.
Hey, Rishabh, thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you for being here, Harry, especially on such short notice. So before we get started, would you mind telling us a little bit more about Prospect 100?
Yeah, for sure. So at the very beginning of lockdown, at the beginning of COVID, myself and a couple of friends, to be honest, were really conscious that so many people our age were going to be locked at home without access to facilities, without access to equipment, essential equipment, without access to teachers or friends to collaborate with. So we wanted to create just a series of competitions that young people could take part in, hopefully to have fun, to maintain touch with their passions, but importantly for us to also develop their passions to the next level. So as you mentioned there, Rishab, we've been really lucky to work with some cool companies and entities. So for example, we did a music competition. So we worked with a really big music festival here in the UK. So the winner of that competition, when lockdown finishes, which fingers crossed is going to be very soon, they will be performing at the festival. And we worked with, as you know, Rishab, the likes of Steve Wozniak, the co-founder of Apple. So these are people who are judging the entries. And so hopefully every young person who takes part that gets to the semi-final, gets to the final of the competitions, even if they don't win the grand prize, they'll be able to say, I made the semi-final because Steve Wozniak liked my project. And hopefully when a future employer sees that, or if a future collaborator sees that, they'll start to, take your work maybe a bit more seriously, or respect your work a little bit more, because they've seen that someone as experienced and as successful as Steve Wozniak saw your work and wanted to endorse and support it. And so that's really been our mission and our aim with Prospect 100. And fingers crossed, we'll keep growing and keep doing bigger and bigger competitions. And at the moment, as you mentioned, Rishabh, we're in the middle of a competition with the iconic Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Now, I don't know if everyone watched the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles growing up, but for me, it was one of my favorite comic series on TV. So we're so excited to work with them. And whoever wins this competition, not only will they get a massive cash prize, but also their artwork will be released as an official collaboration with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So imagine on your CV being able to say that your first professional project was with that really famous, iconic, I think they're in the top 25 best-selling franchises of all time. So, that's a really cool way for a young creator to kickstart their career, I guess. So yeah, that's what we're working on with Prospect 100 in a nutshell. To get any more details, again, just head up our Instagram at Prospect 100, and you can really find out everything about what we're doing.
I think that's awesome. And I had the opportunity to participate in the competition with Steve Wozniak as one of the judges. And that really does add something very unique to your profile. But that kind of makes me wonder, what actually encouraged you to start such an initiative at a young age?
Yeah, so I think when I was 14, I started my first ever project. And I'm really conscious of using the word project, because I think when I was 14, as maybe some people in this chat will be as young as 14 or only a little bit older than 14, I didn't like using that word business, because for me, I just didn't, I didn't feel like a business person. I was only 14 years old, 15 years old. And in my head, business means that you must be 30, you must wear a suit, you must, have an office, you must have employees. And so I just didn't really like using this word business. So I always used the word project or initiative. And I just felt that was a much friendlier word to use. But when I was 14, I really just wanted to start, creating my own things, because I was realizing that when it comes to something like a business or an initiative that is commercial, let's say, when you're older, you have so much to potentially lose. There's so much money that you have to invest in a business if you're older, because you have to make up for the fact that you're not working and taking a wage. Whereas when we're young, if we don't have a job and we're just at school or at university, we have a lot of free time on our hands. We're around hundreds of other young people who have lots of time and lots of different skills. So I thought it made sense to start my own project because I just felt like you had nothing to lose. You know, it was something fun to do. And if a business didn't succeed when you're 14 or 15, to be honest with you, it doesn't really matter because, you know, you're still young and you're learning. And the way that I saw it is, you know, when you're younger, you really have everything to gain, because if you start your own project or initiative, you're going to learn skills that you will never learn when you're at school or if you're at university. So for example, even things like invoicing, even things like how to send a really good email to a company and to get them to help you with your initiative, that is something which you don't learn when you're at school or university. So these were little things that I was learning when I was 14 or 15 that have helped with future projects down the line or helped with other jobs that I've had to go and do. But I would also really say that when you're young, one of the things we forget is when you're young, it's so easy to be nervous and think that, oh, I look young, I sound young, I maybe don't have as much experience, so people won't want to talk to me, people won't want to listen to me because, you know, who am I to talk about anything? I'm just a kid. But I'd really emphasize to everyone listening right now that being young is actually one of the most it's one of the biggest advantages you could have, because people are going to really respect you for trying something when you're young. People are going to really like the fact that you're a young person wanting to do something that's big and it maybe trying to help people, or it's something that just isn't normal. It's not just going to school and then coming home and playing FIFA or doing whatever it is. It's something a bit different, and people will always respect you for that. And so what you'll find is if you start when you're young, people are going to help you in a way they will never really truly help you if you're older. So I would really stress to everyone who's going to be taking part in the Ideathon over the next couple of days to be thinking about that. You know, whenever you're developing a project, whether it's now or in a year's time or in 3 years' time or however long it might be, that whatever you're doing now doesn't need to be the end goal. It doesn't need to be, oh, this is the project I'm going to work on until the day I retire. That doesn't need to be the case. It could be a project for 1 year, or it could be something you hope lasts longer, but it doesn't. But don't see that as a failure, or don't even worry about this being the project that you're going to be doing in 5 years' time, because at the end of the day, the skills you're going to learn by doing any and all projects that you undertake, as I mentioned, whether it's invoicing, whether it's marketing, branding, whether it's even just sending emails, these are skills you never will learn when you're at school or at university in the same way as actually doing it for real. So I just really emphasize to everyone that if you have a chance over these next few days to take the ideas you come up with and turn them into a project outside of the Ideathon, and as I mentioned, maybe using the Up Next platform to take this idea to the next level, I would really emphasize that everyone should, because at the end of the day, you really have nothing to lose. You have so much to gain and so many experiences. And I would say that the project I started when I was 14 is nothing like what I'm doing now, but the skills and the people I met and the skills that I learned when I was 14 and 15 working on that project, it lasted about 3 or 4 years. And even though it's not what I'm doing now, those skills have meant what I'm doing now is, in my opinion, more successful than it would have been if this had been my first project. So I would just really emphasize that if you have the chance to take your idea forward outside of this Ideathon, I think you should, because the skills you're going to learn and develop, you won't be able to develop just by being in school or just by being in university.
Thanks, Harry. I think that's really inspiring, and you've touched up on a really important fact there that, as all of us, we're all young co founders. Our
Yeah.
max age is like 19 here. So I think it's sometimes especially sometimes I feel like maybe I'm too young, and that's where I'm going wrong. But I think you brought in a new perspective here that maybe that's the advantage I have. That's the competitive advantage I have here. So thanks for touching up on that.
And I think just to touch on that point you raised there about perspective, this is one of the things that I'm really conscious to talk about, because I think with us all being so young, it's hard for us to have historical perspective. Now let me give you an example. If we wanted to do this event right now, 20 or 30 years ago, it would have been impossible. And so our parents, when they were growing up, they never had the chance to, if they had an idea, they could say, oh, this is an idea of something I want to do when I'm 30 or when I'm 40. But we now have the opportunity to take that idea and turn it into something by tonight. And that is, for me, is incredible, because again, with an event like this, let's just take the real basic fundamentals. All of us are in lockdown right now. So this event would not have been possible 30 years ago if the world had been in lockdown. I'm currently in the UK. You guys are currently in a different country, quite a few hours ahead of me. So it just wouldn't have been impossible. And I think it's so easy for us to forget that we're in such a lucky and luxurious position where whatever we want to do, whatever we want to be, wherever we are in the world, we can do it at the click of our fingers. So Rishabh, if you decided that you want to release an album of music tonight and you want to become the next big rap artist, you could go on your iPhone or go on any phone you have, or even use your laptop, record that music and put it to SoundCloud tonight and put it out to the world. And by this evening, if you wanted to be, you could become a rap artist. And I think you could use any name as well. You don't need to be Rishabh. Pardon, sorry?
I was saying those were actually the plans for my weekend, become a rap artist.
Oh, okay. I'm glad to hear it. But you could use any name. You could be any age. And no one needs to know how old you are. No one needs to know where you're from. No one needs to know anything about you. They can just go and listen to your music. And I think that is something our parents could never, ever do. And for me, my belief is that we're then in this position where we shouldn't throw away these opportunities. If you want to create an album of music, you should go and do it. If you want to create a business or a project, you should go and do it. If you want to start a charity, you should do it, because our grandparents, our parents, our great-grandparents, they never had that opportunity. And so I feel like, in a weird way, we kind of owe it to past generations who have given us these opportunities now because of the hard work they've done over the last 100, 200 years, that if we have an idea, if we have a passion, we really should pursue it, because every other generation would love to be in our shoes when it comes to this. My grandparents would love the opportunity to start their own business at 15 or 16, I'm sure that Elvis Presley would have loved the opportunity to create an album when he was 14 years old, but he didn't have that opportunity. So I really believe that we're in such a fortunate position. It only makes sense for us to be using those opportunities. And that's why I go back to that word perspective. It's very hard for us to have perspective because we've grown up in a world where all of these things are obvious. It's doable. If Rishabh, you want to put a message out to 100 people, you just put a message in this chat and 140 people are going to see it instantly. Whereas back in the day, if you wanted 100 people to hear what you were doing, you had to go into the middle of your town or the middle of your city and start shouting at the top of your lungs, hoping people were going to listen. Or if you wanted to reach 1,000 people, you would have to be a journalist for the newspaper. Whereas now you can just put out a tweet and probably 1,000 people are going to see it, So I think it's this kind of perspective that is hard for us to have because we've always had this world that we live in. But this world around us really is molding us into trailblazers and into forward-thinking individuals and global individuals as well, because this is a world that no one else has ever had the opportunity to grow up in. And I emphasize the word the opportunity to grow up in, because I believe that whilst there are obviously going to be some negatives to all of this opportunity in some way, shape, or form, and the fact that we don't really have a private life anymore, but I do believe that we have so many opportunities at our fingertips that I would urge everyone in this chat to be making the most of.
Absolutely. I think it has become significantly easier for us to start a business today than it was a couple of years ago even. And we really should not be taking that for granted. So Harry, I'm going to ask you one final question. Now, if you were to go back in time, what would you tell yourself when you were starting your first initiative? From what you know now, obviously.
I think that my first initiative, I was really conscious, right? So it was a clothing brand, and I was really conscious that at the time, I'm 14 years old. I live in rural England. Now, when we think clothing, we think cool, we think cities, you think like New York or Los Angeles and celebrities. You don't think a random kid from rural England sat in his bedroom. And so I was really conscious to hide my identity. And I thought that would help with the branding. If it wasn't being led by me, but it was being led by a brand name, I thought that would help. But what I think I've learned a lot over the last few years is mainly on branding and marketing. It's how can you make your brand or your company desirable to people? And I think there are a few cheat codes effectively. And this is the one that I'd give to myself if I was sort of like 14 again, and it would be one of the cheat codes to make whatever you're doing really exciting to other people or cool, I guess, is find ways, if you can, to try and involve celebrities or trying to involve entities that are cool. So for example, Rishabh, when we talk about that competition we put together for CrossFit 100, the thing we all remember is Steve Wozniak taking part, right? No one remembers the way that you communicated was cool, or the way you did this was cool, the way the live stream work was great. No one remembers that. It's the fact that Steve Wozniak was a judge. And so I think that is one of the cheat codes we've kind of learned. And I would just really stress to everyone here, we often put celebrities on this pedestal that are untouchable, but actually all of these people are normal human beings. They have email addresses, they have agents or managers. And I think that if you can find a way to embed celebrities or to really just work on your branding as a whole, and for us that's celebrities, maybe for other people it's not, but I think branding is so important. It's what everyone is engaging with. That is going to determine whether people want to be involved with what you're doing or not, whether they want to buy your product or not, whether they want to use your platform or not. It's all about being cool. Like Snapchat, when it first came out, the branding was just amazing. Everyone wanted to be on Snapchat. It was a cool, very useful platform. And so no one really above our age demographic was on Snapchat at all. And I think Instagram started that way as well, to be quite honest. So I'd say branding is so important, and find ways to ensure that your branding is better than everyone else's in a way that no one else can match. And for Prospect 100, that's been emailing celebrities and trying to get them to judge the competitions, because instantly that makes the whole thing more legitimate and cooler to be a part of. So I just stress to everyone, really be thinking about your branding. That is, again, your branding is probably, in my opinion, the most important thing there is, because you can have the best products in the world, but if no one wants to be attached to it or no one wants to buy it, they're not going to. And so it would be, how can I make this branding as cool as possible? I really look up to the brands like Apple and Nike and, obviously the really well-known brands, but also brands like Off-White. Off-White's come around very, very recently in the fashion sphere. And I think that what they've done amazingly well is embrace celebrity culture, embrace pop culture is the phrase that people really use. And it's made it such a desirable product that everyone, no matter where you are in the world, probably wants to own an Off-White t-shirt, or they want, people pay crazy money for it. And I think that for me, branding, that's the most important thing. So yeah, that would be the thing I'd go back and say to myself, it's like, when you're 14, how can you make this brand as strong as possible? How can you try and involve cool celebrities that are going to strengthen your brand? That for me is so important.
And
Harry, can I ask you a question which is sort of, not related to what you're speaking about? So you just mentioned that, branding and designing is like very important for a brand. So now just looking at our very own brand, Tangled, we are a youth brand. We are made for youth flagships. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much would you rate our branding and design? And if, could you tell us what is that we could be working on to improve our branding?
Is that Tangled?
Tangled.
Well, I mean, I'd probably have to email you afterwards and have a look at your website. So I think branding again is more than just a logo. It's about, what does your brand make people feel? Like when you think Apple, you don't just think, oh yeah, they've got a cool logo. And you don't just think, oh yeah, I really like how minimalist it is and simplistic it is. Apple makes you feel something. It feels like you're about to change the world and you've got an Apple product. You feel almost like it's the best. And I think actually there's a really great Kanye West interview, weirdly, about branding. And he talked about how, when you buy from certain companies, and he talks about products a lot, when you buy from certain companies, it makes you feel like the best version of yourself because you're wearing the Nike trainers or you've got the Apple phone, and you just feel like there's something about those brands that makes you feel different. So it's not just a logo. The Nike logo is cool, but I think the reason we think it's cool is because of everything else they do. It's not just because of the design. There are plenty of companies that got cool logos but don't make people feel anything because their brand doesn't stand for something. I think that the best brands, they stand for something deeper. When it's Apple, in fact, Nike is the obvious one. Nike stand for something way more than just producing good clothes. They really stand for athletes and for everything to do with being an athlete. And that's what Gymshark has done so well over the last few years. It really stands for people who are trying to make that transformation quite a bit in going from not so active into becoming an athlete. And they work with so many people, from the top athletes in the world all the way down to people who aren't athletes but have had a massive life transformation through athletics. I think that makes a brand special. It makes people feel something. So yeah, I think if you email me after this, we can talk about it in more depth because it's more than just a logo.
All right. Thank you, Harry, for adding so much meaning to like just a very specific question and providing value through that question too. And thank you so much for your time and for this amazing short talk that we had with all of our participants. But let's move on, and talking about branding of Tangled, I think Kwash Gulati and I are going to do a short presentation about our startup Tangled, after which we'll be moving on to announcing what the problem statement and challenges are. All right.
Let's start. 3, 2, 1, go.
Right. So Tangle is a peer-to-peer learning platform. We are an online platform that's gamifying building through peer learning. We're trying to change the game you all learn skill, change the game in terms of how you all learn skills. We are getting you really young and passionate instructors between the ages of 13 to 23. And at the same time, we are improving accessibility by making all courses on Tangle absolutely free. So we're a peer-to-peer learning platform where anyone between the ages of 7 to 21 can learn for free, while anyone who is passionate about anything can conduct a free course as long as they're under the age of 23. Right. So why peer learning? Now, peer learning is actually, I'm sure all of you all can relate to this. We often are not able to connect with our teachers. When there's someone who's in her 30s or 40s teaching us, we land up losing our concentration, and we definitely don't want to learn from them. They're often not approachable, and connecting with them is just basically impossible. So that's why we thought, why not change how we actually learn things? And during the pandemic, we actually found a lot of passionate teenagers who are super talented at what they do. And they were willing to conduct courses for basically their peers in a way of giving back. And we decided to build Tangled as a bridge between this community of talented and enthusiastic instructors and anyone who's willing to and wanting to learn something new. Plus, we have some really, really young instructors. For example, a 13-year-old who's a black belt in karate and has been practicing the sport since he was 3, which inspires the learners to keep going and stay motivated and excited on the platform. We also bring in gamification, which I'll let Kaush talk to you about.
Adityan, please change the slide. Right, thanks. Okay, so what's the idea of gamification is that the platform itself is not made for only the first benchers or the students who are always particularly eager to learn. We're also trying to capture the students who are not as eager to learn, right? Sometimes they're shy. All right. So the entire idea to have gamification on the platform is to have everyone, even the backbenchers, on and make the experience on the whole beautiful and amazing for everyone. So the whole Adi, so we have three parts for the gamification. First one is the discussion forum. The discussion forum is sort of attached to every course you have. Let's say you join in to robotics or art. So you'll have a discussion forum with your teacher and your teammates, whoever's with you on that course, and you can think of new ideas there. You can discuss new topics. You can just feel free to do anything you need to there regarding the course and innovate, basically. The other half is the leaderboards. Now, the whole idea of the leaderboards is when you interact a lot on the discussion forum and you attend your classes regularly, we give you sort of an incentive, right, to attend more and interact with everyone so that even the shy people are up there and you move up on the leaderboard, and I think that's great. The third one is the Tangler takeover. Now, it's particularly boring when the teacher is talking on and on for 45 minutes and you just sleep somewhere in between, because that's what happened to me in most of my lectures. They were long and they were in the morning, so you can't blame me. And the most of the time, the teachers were talking, and I feel like that's something that really loses you. That's where the teacher loses you. So the Tangler takeover is that one third of the class will be taken by the students. You get to discuss any doubts you had, maybe new ideas you have, and everything like that on the live session. So what our mission is we want to create a platform, a platform to connect like-minded individuals, connect like-minded individuals, and bring a platform out for there to be peer learning. And it's particularly for students who want to learn a particular skill and also for those who know how to teach one and who want to inspire others. And that's it.
All right, I think that was like a small snippet about our platform. We will be talking a little bit more about it towards the end when we tell you all about the format of the competition. But let's move on to what you all have been waiting for, the actual problem statements and the challenges that you'll be working on.
Right. So here we are. So for our first challenge, we'll be addressing a problem, in the health technology industry. So the pandemic initiated policy and regulation changes have encouraged large competitive moves and commercialization activities in the digital health space. And so much so, the health economy market is around $3.3 million right now, just in 2021. And it has become very exciting for students and researchers to be working on the topic as well. So, with it receiving a record breaking $10 billion in venture in 2020 alone. So, we want you to come up with a solution that can help better educate young patients, right? You can screenshot this so that you wouldn't have a confusion.
Yeah, so this is the first one of your challenge. You've got two more.
Yep.
Okay, let's move on to the second one. Now, we've really put a lot of thought into what industry should you all be solving problems for. In the past year was even more so exciting for educational technology, and entrepreneurs have long mused how these technologies would usher into a disruption of the education market. But nothing proved to be quite literally as disruptive as a pandemic, because it shut down all of our schools, it suspended our livelihoods, and it forced millions of students and educators to rely on new digital tools. Many of them were doing this for the first time. The edtech industry saw about $2 billion in venture capital in 2020. So if there is a space you want to be innovating in right now, that is edtech. And that's why this is your opportunity to rethink schooling. We want you to come up with a technology solution that can change the way content is curated and delivered in the classroom. You can really be creative with this. Every problem that you thought you faced as a person sitting in a class, be it online or in person, figure out a way to solve them and do it in whatever form you want, as long as you're using some form of technology. And finally, open innovation. So we don't want to restrict you or constrain you in any way. If you all have an idea which you think is going to be the next big thing, just go ahead and build it. You have this category with which you can participate. Judging will be fair irrespective of whether you're solving a pre-assigned problem or not. Okay, let's go on to the format of the competition. Yeah. Question.
So, this event is taking a unique format where you have 3 days to go through from ideation to recording your video pitch. And on day 3, which is on the 26th of June, you have to record and upload a 3-minute video pitch to the Up Next app with the hashtag Tanglethon. You will have until the 1st of July to collect votes on your idea on the Up Next app, and these votes will account for 20% of the overall score, and the 80% will be normal judging. And we will announce the finalists on the 2nd of July at 12 p.m.
Yeah. So to summarize that for everyone, 20% of the final decision will be based on how many votes you collect. So by the third day, that is 26th of June by 6 p.m., you have to upload your 3-minute video pitch to the Up Next app and make sure to have the hashtag Tanglethon on it. We as judges me and the judges team will be going through those videos on the app. At the same time, you'll be expected to collect votes on it as well. But don't worry, we're not throwing you on the deep end. On the second day, we are conducting workshops to train you in all skills, all the way from brainstorming and ideation to making app prototypes and pitching your startup with a 3-minute video. Now, to benefit from these workshops, you will need to sign up on Tangled, as that's where we'll be conducting them. And there will be a direct link that'll be emailed to you all that you all can click on and immediately sign up. And on the discussion forum of that classroom link, you'll find the links to all the 3 Zoom sessions tomorrow.
Okay. Additionally, you have access to a podcast library called Tangle Talks, we have some amazing content there. We have computer vision, how to create a self-driving car, and about Android development. We have the next one coming up on Sunday, which is how to write your next bestseller. So you can find these on the Instagram in our IGTV videos, or you can go on to the website and click on blogs, and you'll find the Spotify link there.
All right. I think that covers almost all of what we had to take you through today. If you all have any questions, feel free to ask us in the chat. And Adi, can you stay on like the previous slide? So
Yeah, sure.
by 24th of June, 26th of June by 6 p.m., you'll have until then to upload your videos and your video pitches on the Up Next app. And then you'll have about like 5 days to collect votes on it. Ilai, would you like to add something to that?
Oh, hello. Can I speak? Rishabh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, we have to submit the pitch day after tomorrow, and we have 5 days to collect the votes. Yeah.
Mhm.
And the pitch
Yeah.
is of 3 minutes.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Do we have any questions?
Okay, so we have some questions coming up. So I'm just going to read the questions I'm getting on my personal chat for everyone. Anyone else might have the same doubt. So one of the questions that Joshua asks are we restricted to making a video on just one topic, or can we present our ideas on more than one?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question. And so the best part about this competition is you're not limited to one solution. However, we do encourage you to dedicate all your time and effort into one solution as a team. But if you feel you have two ideas that might work just as well, feel free to upload both of those to the app.
The other one is that do I need to stick to the topics, or can I make a startup idea on anything that's good for the society?
Yes, you can. That's the open innovation category. We're not constraining you in any way. The first two challenges are just prompts for you all.
So that's the answer of the picker. And let me see if I'm getting anything else. Yes, can the video pitch be digital rather than us being in it and recording it to make an impact?
Yeah, you can present in whatever way you like. We'll be conducting a workshop tomorrow that you can join that will give you more suggestions on how you can pitch more effectively.
Perfect. Sanvi asks, ma'am, can the video be made on app, and what are the copyright rules?
Itai, could you please answer that?
Can you please rephrase say the question again?
She says, can the video be made on the app, and what are the copyright rules around it?
Okay, so first of all, no, the video should be created or edited in a video editing app. Our app is not a video editing, so you can edit on TikTok or on any app you have and you use to edit video. You can use materials that are not yours. Okay, if you want background music, no problem, because it's not commercial. We're not publishing it outside of the app. It's just for us to use, and you're not monetizing it, so no problem. But your ideas should be original. We're looking for original ideas, right? So don't pitch us other people ideas, because eventually we want to invest. We're looking to invest in your team, in your ideas. So it would be very disappointing to all of us if we'll discover late in the process that the idea is not yours at all. Even if you didn't know about it, you need to research.